Good morning to all of you. This is Dr. K. Shanti, Associate Professor, Department of Information Technology from Dr. NGP Arts and Science College. Here we are going to say about the introduction to C programming. So in this video lecture, we are going to see about the history of C language, basic structure of a C programming, and how to execute a C programming, commands in C programming, C character set, tokens in C, keywords, identifiers, and variables. First, let us have an history of C language. So, the root for of all modern languages, ALGOL, which is introduced in the year of 1960s. So this ALGOL uses a structured programming is popular in Europe. So 1967, Martin Richards he developed a language called BCPL, whose expansion is Basic Combined Programming Language. So this is primarily developed for system software. So after 1967, in 1970, Ken Thompson created a new language called B, and it is created for Unix operating system at Bell Laboratories. So both BCPL and B were typeless languages. So she is evolved from the ALGOL, BCPL and B. And actually the C was developed by Dennis Ritchie at the Bell Laboratory in 1972. So here this C language it added a new features and concepts like data types in it. It was developed and strongly integrated along with the Unix operating system, and in 1983 American National Standards Institute appointed a technical committee to define a standard for C. So this committee approved a version of C in December 1989, which is known as ANSI C. In 1990, this international standard organization ISO has approved C, and this version of C is referred as C89. So why we are calling the language with C? Why we have given the name C to this language? Because many of the ideas of C languages it was derived from the language B. So BCPL and CPL are the previous versions of B language. So as many features came from B, it was named as C, which is a follower of the alphabet ABC. So what is the importance of C programming language? Once if you are getting into the C programming language, it is a structured programming language. This C programming supports functions which makes us easy maintainability of the code and also reusability of the code by breaking a large files into the smaller modules. So commands in C provides easy readability. So we can it allows you to understand easily for what purpose that language or that program was written. And the C is a powerful language, and the C programs built from variable and type declarations. It has a functions, statements and expressions, etc. Now we are going to see about the basic structure of a C program. So once when you are talking about the basic structure of the C program, it is going to have a documentation section, which is an optional one, and then link section where we can include the library files, header files, which we need for that program, which is required for that particular program. And then you will be having an variable definitions and constants can be declared in the third section, that is definition section, and fourth one is that is also being an optional one. And then fourth section is an declaration, global declaration sections where you can declare the global variables. And then we will be having a main function which is followed by the subroutine section. So once if you are talking about the main function, inside the main functions we are going to have again two sections. It is divided into two parts. One is going to be a declaration part and another one is going to be an execution part. So this command section is used for giving an information about the program, Link section is used to link to the header files which we require for that corresponding program, and also it allows you to define a variables and constants in the third section, which is an optional one. And then declaration of the global variables. If it is required, we can declare the main function and subroutine section. So now let us have an example for this program. So first section, we have seen that it is a documentation section. It was shown here, and in that sections we have written that that is the program is written for an area of circle and who is the author, and even you can include the information like when the program was created, etc. And then you will be having a link section. So in this link sections, you have included the header file that is required for that program. In this link sections, we have included the standard input output header file and the constant input output header file. So which is need for almost all the programs, C programs. And then we in the definition sections, we have defined a constant called pi which utilizes the value of 3.14. And then we have in the global declaration sections, we have declared a function called area by declaring a function called area. And then in the main functions, we have written the statement. We have declared what are the variables required for that main program and what are the statements that is need to be executed that was included in the main function. And then void area that is defined under the subprogram section. And this a void area is going to have the calculation of the circle of area. So in this program, it contains almost all the sections what we have discussed in the basic structure of a C program. So next we are going to see about the header files. That is header files. These are the files that are specified in the include section that is called as header file. So these files are pre-compiled files and then the has some functions defined in them. The header files is given with has an extension of .h and C source file will be given an extension of .c. So all the main file, all the C programs, almost it contains the stdio.h and conio.h in its linking section. So this stdio.h represents the standard input output library functions. So by making use of these functions only, we can make use of the functions like printf and scanf functions in our program. And at the same time, we have to make it that is conio.h, which is going to have includes the constant input output library functions. The next that we are going to see is the main functions. So already the main function is compulsory for C. So always the compilation starts from the main function only. So we can say that this is the entry point of a program, and then from the main function the flow goes as per the programmer's choice. So it may or may not contain the other functions which is written by the user. And the main section is going to have two parts in it. One is going to be a declaration part and another one is going to be an executable part. So in the declaration part, whatever the variables that we want to use it in that program, all that variables should be used in the declaration part. And then all the executable statements should be written in the executable part. So always the main programs returns integer as a result. So how to run a C program? After writing a complete program, how we have to run the program? So we have to run the program by means of saving. The source code should be saved with an extension of .c, and then after saving that program you have to compile it either through menu or by means of using a shortcut menu Alt F9, and then you have to run the program either by means of using the menu, otherwise you can make use of the shortcut menu that is Control F9. So once if you compile the program, automatically it creates an object file, and that object file will be gets executed and then it is converted into an executable file when you are running that program. So how to specify the commands in the C program? So commands in the C program can be specified in two ways. One is to represent a single line command and another one is to have a multi-line command. So always the command is nothing but it is going to give you an information about that particular program. And whenever the compiler come across this symbol, then automatically it will skip that line. It will never execute for that one. So at runtime, a command is ignored by the compiler. So double slash is used for single line command and then slash star followed by the number of statements and then it ends with a star slash which represents the multi-line command. Next, we are going to say about the C character set. So the C is having its own character set. So a program is a set of instructions that is executed and generated an output. So here, in order to write the program, it needs an character set. So what are the things that is involved in that character set is it includes alphabetical characters, that is letters, numbers, special characters and white spaces. All these things will be supported by the C. So these are the things that is supported. So letters, that is it contains uppercase letters and as well as the lowercase characters. And in numbers it supports from 0 to 9. White spaces it supports blank space, new line, carriage, return, horizontal tab, etc. Special characters, all the characters in the C language. So it's supported by the C character set. And the next that we are going to see is token in C. Token, whenever you are going to execute a program or whenever you are going to compile your program, it automatically breaks the program into a small possible units, which you call it as a tokens, and then it proceeds to the various stages of compilation. So a token is divided into 6 different types, that is keywords, operators, strings, constants, special characters, and identifiers. So next we are going to see is about the keywords. Keywords is a reserved word in the C programming. So it has a defined meaning. It has a defined meaning and then the meaning cannot be changed. So totally there is a 32 keywords in C. Keywords are written in lowercase letters only in C. So here we have given the keywords that is available in C programming. Next, we are going to say about the identifier. So, what is an identifier? Actually, the name given to an element, you call it as an identifier. So, you can call identifier, it represents a name of a variable, name of a function, etc. Identifiers are user-defined names consisting of C standard character set. So, each identifier should have a unique name. So it has to follow the rules. Whenever we are going to give a name to the identifiers, it has to satisfy these rules. So the first characters, it should be always an alphabet or an underscore. It should be formed on using only letters, numbers or underscore. And the keyword cannot be an identifier. It should not contain any white space character. The name must be meaningful. So variable, it is nothing but an identifier where you are going to give the name to a stored location that you call it as a variable. So once if you are declaring it as a constant, it can never change the value during the time of execution. But variables can change their values during the execution of a program and it can update the values stored inside it. So a single the variable can be used at multiple locations in a program and for whenever you are going to provide a variable name, it should be a meaningful. It should provide the meaning for what you have created. It should represent the purpose of the variable. A variable must be declared first before it is used somewhere inside the program. A variable name is formed using characters, digits, and underscore. Thank you. Thank you for the patient listening.